So, you want to be in the top 10% of the Guardian games, huh? Well, that means you're going to need to squeeze every possible point out of every strike you're in. Today, I will show you how, along with some criticisms of the scoring system. I'm not going to be getting into super nitty-gritty stuff like exactly who should be killing what targets, when, and what strikes, and all that kind of stuff. It's just more of a general overview of some things that I think you should keep in mind. To preface this video, you get 20 minutes of maximum scoring until the game starts to penalize you. At 20 minutes, all scoring is cut in half, and I believe at around 24 minutes, all scoring is reduced to 0, while the game also takes points away from you. There are no points for going fast. This is the incentive to move quickly, and you should aim to finish a strike in 20 minutes or less. The majority of your points are going to come from medals, so you need to find ways to maximize the amount of medals you're getting during a run. When playing with match-made players, this is much harder to do since everyone will want to get medals for themselves instead of coordinating who is getting what medal. The number one thing you need to do to increase your scoring in Guardian games is use finishers on all majors and champions. I know it seems super awesome to just Thunder Crash or Nova Bomb everything in sight, and that's because it is, but not for strike scoring. On top of finishers, you need to be emoting before a finisher as well. There are medals for both finishing and emoting on these targets before their death, and as a result, you will gain thousands of more points per kill on these targets. Majors, champions, anything that has a non-red health bar, if it's finishable, it should be emoted on and then finished. This alone will get you tens of thousands of points over the course of a strike and is definitely one of the easiest things that you can do. The emoting isn't worth as many points as a finisher, so if you can only do a finisher, it's much better than killing the target outright. I also believe that when it comes to Lucent Brood, while letting them revive and then killing them again doesn't give any additional points, letting different fire team members get finishers on them after they revive does count for additional points, I believe. This is something that needs to be removed, in my opinion, but it is something that people are going to abuse while it is in the game to get more points, so just keep that in mind. This is why using burst damage weapons like rockets, especially G-Horn, are not actually a good idea. These weapons can deal so much damage that they will outright kill these bigger targets. G-Horn is a weapon that I would highly advise not using because of its insanely destructive power. I would actually encourage using machine guns in these strikes because they don't AoE kill everything unless you're on Thunderlord, and because you can get precision kill streak medals much easier than on any other weapon. It's also why I haven't really been using my abilities either. The ability kill medals are okay, but taking out more than 3 enemies feels very wasteful with something like a grenade since they don't have any other medals. The number 2 thing you need to do to increase your scoring is using support supers like Ward and Well of Radiance. Assuming you have the Gold Contenders boon, which you probably will after one run of the competitive playlist, you only need a gold tier score to get it, you will be getting supers rapidly, assuming you are getting a decent amount of kills to keep the buff rolling. There's a medal called Let There Be Light, which is earned for killing 3 things with your super. Generally speaking, burst supers will tend to kill many more than 3 targets, but you'll only get 1 Let There Be Light medal because of the brief internal cooldown, which means wasted points, as all of those other kills could have been used to generate more medals with other things. Here's where Ward of Dawn comes in. The Weapons of Light buff that is generated is counted as a super kill when you kill something with a gun. So by killing stuff with a gun, you'll be able to get primary, special, or power weapon kill streaks and boost the progression of the 10, 20, and 30 kills without dying medals, while also getting Let There Be Light medals. Not only that, but you'll be able to proc Let There Be Light multiple times over as long as you give yourself a little bit of time in between kills. And because your super is regenerating so quickly, you will be able to literally spam wells and wards non-stop throughout most of a strike. I like Ward a little bit more because it allows you to roam around while Well does not, but Ward doesn't allow you to shoot through a ward. Another way to maximize your medals per medal is to use a glaive. Glaives count as both 3 melee kills and 3 special weapon kills when you get 3 rapid melee kills with a glaive, in case that's not implied. Stack a ward on top of that, and now you're generating 3 medals when you get 3 rapid glaive melee kills. However, the thing that I didn't like about using a glaive is that even though the strike is pretty easy, assuming you're at or above level, you're still at risk of death because things still hit pretty hard. More coordinated teams will be able to make the glaive life work, but I personally didn't like using it as I felt like I was doing a lot more dying than killing. Using something like Agger's Scepter is also a great way to boost your medals per medal, since there are a couple of stasis medals to earn involving killing frozen targets. Speaking of dying, there are flawless medals to earn in the strikes, where if you don't die, you get a medal, and if your entire team doesn't die, you get another medal. Unfortunately, the points gained from these medals are abysmal, and you can actually get more points intentionally killing yourselves and having someone else res you for the Guardian Angel medal, which you get from 2 rapid revives. More on that in the criticism part of the video. So don't worry too much about dying during the strike, because it's not going to matter that much. Obviously, if you can not die, then that's great, but it's not a big deal. Another thing to not worry yourself too much about is getting medals like Virtuoso or Jack of all trades, the really intense stuff, as the viability of actually getting one of these medals is incredibly low, even in a group, and the points gained are not really worth all of the effort compared to just going through the strike normally. Finally, a pretty obvious one, communication is just really important in these runs. Being able to call out things like letting someone get a kill to finish a 3-kill medal, or saying they're popping their super, things like that can really get some extra points out of a situation that non-communication wouldn't allow you to have. Learning spawn patterns as well is going to be very important, making sure you can kill every enemy that the game is giving you to get every single point that you can possibly get. My best run with a random team was about 265,000. In only 3 runs with an actual team, like in Discord chat, we got 325, then 360 something, then 398,000, slightly refining our strategy as time went on. Simply playing in a coordinated team with voice chat will give you thousands of more points than playing without one at all. These are the best tips that I have for those of you looking to break into the top 10. Looks like my prediction of simply just doing the strike getting you top 10% was very inaccurate, and you will need to actually try and use some of these mechanics to your benefit. Here is where I have some feedback for Bungie. Number 1 is to make intentionally killing yourself a non-viable strategy. I get that getting 2 rapid revives is a cool medal and should probably be worth some points, but I think rewarding dying in this way goes against the spirit of the event and the spirit of strike scoring. People should want to go for flawless runs, no deaths, no team deaths, stuff like that. People should not want to intentionally die over and over for medals. I realize that this was probably never the intent of the Guardian Angel medal. Bungie didn't design things to make dying over and over a good idea. It's just kind of something that happened. But it's something that should be fixed, in my eyes. However Bungie wants to go about fixing this is up to them, just as long as repeatedly dying over and over isn't a viable strategy. Next is to potentially ditch the insult to injury medal, where you get more points for emoting before kills. It's a neat little novelty, but I don't think it really adds positively to the experience. It just makes it so you need to do another step before doing a finisher. I could see some pushback on this, maybe a little bit from the community, but I personally think this could go away and it would improve the experience. Strike scoring should be mostly about refined combat, not trying to forget to emote before every other kill. Next is to have abilities feel better to use. Like I mentioned earlier, using abilities actually feels like a detriment because their kill medal only requires 3 kills, but that's the cap as well. Whereas weapon kill medals go up to 9 for rapid kills and 10, 20, 30 total kills without dying. I realize that any sort of change here might tip the scales too heavily towards the favor of using abilities though, since you're getting so much regeneration. The feedback is I want to use my abilities, but if I want the most points, I don't feel like I should be using my abilities. This is also a plea to Bungie from myself. Please make strike scoring a thing outside of Guardian games. With some tightening of mechanics, fixes of points cheesing, and some slight refinements, I think this could be a really neat thing to have in the game season over season, where there are monthly competitions or seasonal competitions, whatever duration you want to have. It's something I've advocated for since forever, and it makes the strike experience feel a lot better when I actually can have some more fun with it. Granted, some strikes themselves could use a bit of an update, especially the core playlist as a whole, but this would be a nice first step and a nice thing to have in the future. Making it into its own playlist or just its own thing in general would be nicer than trying to incorporate it into currently existing things though. Anyway, best of luck in the Guardian games. If you have any tips of your own, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.